So the question is about prolonging life, physical life. We've talked about a Christian worldview that says we as Christians should welcome the time when God does take us through the valley of the shadow of death into a greater reality. And the question specifically is, as we have the technologies to have open heart surgery and others that allow us to add another 10 years to our physical life, at what point does availing ourselves of such technologies maybe begin to constitute a moral wrong? And I don't want to really directly address your question in sort of a this is what you all ought to believe sense. I can speak for myself. I think that I'm nearing the time when, as I start to think about writing a will, I will include in that will the prohibition against heroic acts to save my physical body. Because I recognize that the death of this physical body will liberate my soul and mind to a much greater reality that God has prepared for me. I don't think I have reason or right to make other people believe as I do about that. But my own experience is that I had both of my grandmothers had operations which, at the age of the middle 80s, so they were both in their mid 80s when they had heart operations, that basically the doctors guaranteed them 10 more years of life. And both of them did live well into their 90s. They didn't have equivalent improvements in their mental capacities, and so both of them lost memory and the ability to speak real well, and on and on and on. Their quality of life was not great in those later years. And in their case, neither one of them had a conversion experience after 80 that would have justified, in Christian terms, those extra 10 years. They were already believers. They already knew their Lord. So it was kind of, in my mind, both of them had already lost their husbands and were unable to really interact in their grandchildren's lives and things like that. So all of that to say, I think that if we as Christians did a better job of understanding the truth about this physical life relative to the life we'll enter afterwards, we wouldn't be the ones signing up for 10 more years of life at age 85. I think if we face death more fearlessly, because as H shared with us, God has us covered. Jesus is going to walk us through the valley of the shadow of death. That would be an apologetic, a difference from the way the world around us faces death, that would be startling and powerful. I have loved ones who are not believers who know what I believe and see my life and yet have not said, I want that. It may be that God will use my death and the way I face it as the key to unlocking their heart and helping them understand why they need their Creator in their life. And I really do think we need to understand better and preach more about the great reality of our surviving death to live more fully in eternity in order to really set Christianity apart from the beliefs of the world around us.